makes me mad because these people don't want to use common sense, Brian.
Common sense, prove it.
Alex Stein standing by. He's usually on Wednesdays, but I guess he's taping some kind of huge movie with an African-American fellow. Maybe he's doing like a Dallas circa trading places. Are you doing a trading places gimmick?
Kind of, yes. With Charleston White, one of the most controversial people on the internet.
Why is he so? Why is he so? Charleston White. Why is he so controversial? Tell me what I'm missing here.
Oh yeah.
Well, he's spoken out. Anna would really like what he says about Israel because he says some really bad stuff about.
Well, say it, and even though it's not your opinion nor mine.
I can't say it. No, I'm just saying. He says stuff about Judaism that's not very.
Does he know that you're a Jewish person?
Well, I'm kind of a fake one, and I kind of encourage him to go off because it's funny. I like it. I don't really care about the target.
Just words, right?
It's just what I'm saying. It's freedom of speech, right? I mean, it's not freedom to shoot us with a gun.
There's really not any freedom of speech. Like, they can cancel you at any time for saying anything at any certainty. It pisses any...
Well, who's they? Because let's be clear.
Hold on. The deep state, Brian. They are anybody that's not a white guy.
But no, I'm asking, when you say nobody is physically stopping them and imprisoning them for what they say. That is what freedom of speech is and what protected speech is.
Yeah, but freedom of speech shouldn't mean you lose your job and you lose your livelihood.
But that's not how it works, though. That's not what the Constitution guarantees. The Constitution doesn't guarantee that your employer can't take action.
Look at this. Can you imagine you're actually arguing about this like you're anti-free speech? Listen, I should be able to say whatever I want about Israel, about the Holocaust, and I shouldn't have to worry about my bank, closing me out. I shouldn't have to worry about all the repercussions that they put on us. So listen, yeah, exactly right. I'm just saying, there are repercussions for our actions. So the idea that we have freedom of speech and that we can just speak freely, yeah, sure, they're not going to throw us in jail, but that's not necessarily true because there's people that didn't go in on January 6th that just spoke out and talked about going there and talked about doing stuff, and their freedom of speech wasn't respected, and they're going to jail. So yeah, I will tell you this,
Brian. I haven't even told you this, but it's the truth, and I don't know that I've told anybody this, but it's the truth. When I know a woman who is 42 years old, and if you would just look at her, and by the way, she's a nurse at a surgery center here in Tampa, Florida. So she's. I wonder
how you know her.
Well, I
how
stop.
big are the hangers?
Just stop, both of you. Damn, help me. Don't
hurt me.
Yeah, don't hurt me. And she went to the January 6th deal. Okay, her and her boyfriend went up there. Now they were at the White House at first, and then they peacefully walked down to the Capitol building. And they never went more than one or two steps up on the Capitol building. And they were just kind of there in the moment, looking and watching stuff. Maybe they were chanting something or whatever, but they didn't. There was no violence. They didn't have any
they weren't scaling walls.
They weren't scaling walls. They took a bus down from the White House to the Capitol building. They were sitting like on the steps of the Capitol building, like the first or second step, not like the 35th or the 36th step when you're right up there by the foyer, like right down at the ground. They just sat there and they watched, and I guess they probably peacefully protested. Do you know the FBI is currently speaking to them right now, and they're facing charges?
She's going to get charged because they just came out and said they're going to start charging people outside of the building.
So if you're just now, how can they do, Brian? I'm going to ask you as a lawyer.
I'd have to look at what they charge her with to see what the legal standard is, for that offense. I mean, it would depend on the charge.
But Brian, let's remember this. There's a federal courthouse in Oregon that got burnt for 63 straight days. They charged one woman and they gave her probation. That was a federal courthouse. Yeah. Now, on January 6th,
I'm not saying that's right either. But what happened on January 6th can't not happen again if we're going to be continuing as a country.
But listen, January 6th, if it was so bad, why were they able to reconvene in 3 hours and certify the election if it was so bad? Because these people that compare it to 9/11, when I watched 9/11 as a kid and I saw people falling from a building 100 stories out of the air, I think that was a little more traumatic than a QAnon shaman walking through the Capitol with bullhorns on his head.
I agree, but if you're a serious country, January 6th cannot happen again.
The Republic was not in jeopardy, though. The Republic, I mean, honestly, I hope it does happen again. I really do mean that. I hope there is another event kind of like January 6th, because the summer of love, they got away with it. We need to protest more. We need more people protesting, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying that we should, injure officers, anybody die. I want a peaceful protest, but we need more protests in this world.
I'm not anti-protest. I'm not anti-using your First Amendment rights.
Our country's been built upon protests. That's what we've been built on.
Protests are fine, and I'm with you. If anybody,
but that's why they scare people. But Brian, what about this? What about this conspiracy
stuff? When they started destroying property and people getting injured, they absolutely should be convicted. That's local. But see,
Kamala Harris set up a bail bond fund and was bonding them out. You can look this up.
Brian's not saying that's right.
I'm not saying it's right. I mean, I don't know what.
It's a dirty game.
But two wrongs don't make a right, man. Come on.
But this is the thing. This is the thing about January 6th, is that there was FBI agents dressed in plain clothes. We already know this. We just don't know how many that were encouraging people to go in. It's called agent provocateurs. Actually, Joe Rogan had a whole thing about this in the World Trade Organization in Seattle. Oftentimes, what they do is they hire like ex-military or military people to go to these protests.
Which
and
ones?
Cause
you have
multiple protests.
No, I'm asking who has been identified.
Type in the World Trade Organization Seattle, and then you can type in agent provocateurs. There's a whole documentary on it, and Joe Rogan talks about it. Type in Joe Rogan World Trade Organization. It should come right up on YouTube.
Which ones have been identified on January 6th as agent provocateurs?
Well, we don't know. We think Ray Epps, but we don't know. But we know that there was FBI agents there. We know that for a fact. So you're trying to tell me, Brian, you're so smart, you don't think any of the FBI was there? We had, 300,000 Americans going to protest. You don't think that there was any FBI agents there?
Don't let him get away with it.
You can think
it just makes me mad because these people don't want to use common sense, Brian.
Common sense, prove it.
No, you have cognitive dissonance. This is the thing. You know the government lies to us. No, you know the government. Listen, Brian, you know the government lies to us.
Don't just make blanket allegations. Prove it.
Brian, has the government, listen to me, has the government ever lied to us, citizens?
Yes.
Okay, so.
And you should be wary of what anybody says without any proof, just like you're doing right now.
You know the government lies to us, yet you still trust them. That's called cognitive dissonance.
I don't trust the government.
That they are lying. Well, then if you don't trust them, me saying that there was FBI agents there, you're getting all pissy.
I'm not getting pissy. I'm asking what your proof is. I'm holding you to the same standard you want to hold everybody
in American history, and I think that the FBI was on there. I think that the FBI was on it.
Okay, that's nice that you have a thought that that's the case. What is your proof?
We have evidence. They asked Mayorkas. They asked him, and he didn't confirm nor deny that there's FBI agents there.
Because he said he's not going to reveal that information.
Well, if there's no FBI agents, he would say there was no FBI. So you tell me, Brian, you don't think there's any FBI people there at all?
I don't know. How about this?
Have you ever heard of an undercover cop? No, Brian.
Here's a very comfortable position.
You're so smart.
I don't know.
Brian, have you ever heard of an undercover cop before?
Yes.
Okay, you have. So do you think that there was a possibility that undercover cops could have been there on January 6th?
It's a possibility. What is your proof?
There you go.
It's a possibility. It's also
I'm not retarded like you. That's my
real quick.
Because I'm not a retard. Because I have a brain. Because I understand what's going on.
That aliens could have been behind January 6th? I mean, come on. You believe in aliens and UFOs? So you're trying to compare the FBI to aliens. That shows you how dumb you are, Brian. That shows you how stupid. You're comparing aliens and the FBI, bud. You're so smart. What a great comparison. What a great analogy. That should be on the freaking SAT for high school kids. No, you're a retard. You're the one that trusts freaking the government. And you're the one losing arguments and you go to personal attacks. I'm just asking you what your proof is,
because you compared aliens and the FBI.
You called me lots of names. I haven't called you anything because I know how to actually debate and I have intelligence. You don't.
Wait, you have intelligence? You don't think that the FBI was there at all on January 6th? We know that they were there. I don't have any
proof. What's your proof? That's what I'm asking.
My proof is I have a working brain. Your proof is that you're a dumbass. That's your proof, dude. Listen.
All right, man.
Brian,
you're really looking like the smart one in this exchange, my friend.
No, I don't even get. Listen, I'm a pimp on a blimp. I love yelling at idiots like you. What are you talking about? I come here. I need to school you. One day you're going to call me and you're going to apologize for being so dumb. Because when the government screws you over, you're going to say, "Oh, F the government." Because the government's not screwing you over, not throwing you in jail like my friends have been thrown in jail for January 6th. You're not personally affected by it.
Hold on. Brian has had the feds up his ass
in the freezer
under the French fry lights for 14 hours trying to hem him up on something that he didn't do.
This is what's ridiculous about it.
Hold on, Brian.
I believe he didn't do it. FBI's right. He did it.
No.
He did it. Guilty, Brian. Guilty.
No, you don't want to be saying that
right now.
Everybody needs to let me stop. You guys have just gone crazy. And I want to say, and I'm not sticking up for Brian, but Brian's very familiar with how shady the FBI and other agencies can be because he's first-handedly been in their crosshairs.
So real quick, and I'll calmly explain this to you. I don't take anything at face value, Alex. I just require a level of proof beyond use common sense. Or how about this?
Here's my proof.
Think about it.
How about this?
Think about it.
Brian.
That's not proof.
This is my proof. This is my proof. Did you know in the Capitol that they have magnetic locks that have to be, a button has to be pressed to release those magnetic locks? Do you understand that?
Okay.
There's no proof that an individual citizen pressed that button. The only proof, and AOC, who I called a big booty Latina, you can look this up. She said
there's proof of that.
The Capitol Police let rioters in on that day. She said that, not me, your favorite, your liberal queen. AOC said the Capitol Police let people in. Google that. So if the top congressman on the Democratic side said that the police let people in, you could argue that that was an inside job or that the FBI was involved or that cops were involved.
Or you could argue that because people were smashing through windows and they didn't have ample numbers
Why would they release the magnetic locks? Why release the magnetic? You can smash a window.
They were going to be coming in no matter what.
If somebody's breaking through my window, I'm going to go open the door for them. I mean, how dumb are you, dude? How dumb are you? You defend the window that they're trying to break into. You don't go open another door so they can come in. That doesn't make any sense, dude. Those magnetic locks, it takes a code to unlock it. So some QAnon shaman with a devil horns or whatever the hell he's wearing, he's not able to release those magnetic locks. Look into it and just type in AOC Capitol Police let rioters in.
So somebody on the Capitol Police could have been aligned with the rioters, is what you're saying. That's the most logical.
No, I'm saying that the Capitol Police.
That's impossible? That's impossible? That's not a possibility.
No, I'm saying that could be possible, but I think it's more likely that they said, hey, let him in. We want to make this thing look really bad, but we got it fully controlled.
You know what? That's a possibility as well.
We got this thing fully controlled.
We're not too worried about it.
We're getting right on through this, man.
That's a possibility as well. But it's just as likely as a possibility as somebody on the Capitol Police being sympathetic to the cause and letting them in. Or it being an inside job that way. It's just as likely. Can you admit that?
What I'm saying is the likelihood of being let in, them pressing a button and being let in, it was done by a Capitol Police officer. It was done by an official person.
Who could be involved with the mob that was there at the Capitol? Who could be? That's possible.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know.
Exactly.
Or he could have been paid by his supervisor. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
We know that they were let in. We know that they were let in. We know that they let them in and that they took a tour and that the MAGA granny was 74 years old walking around. They're trying to throw her in jail. So listen, you and I can go take a tour of the Capitol, but if they take a tour, they're going to go to jail for 6 to 10 years. Richard Barnett. I'm just saying, if you can't see that the Department of Justice has been weaponized against United States people, and at one point it might have
been weaponized, my friend.
Trust me, I know. They weaponized against me.
I know, so I'm not okay with it. You're okay with that? You think that's so cute and just so great that the FBI can come hem us up?
We're not changing it.
Stein, who do you think put the pipe bombs down?
We're not going to change anything because I'm not going to lay down and die.
You are correct.
Right? I'm not a little baby back biatch like you, Brian. If they come here, come and take it. I'm in Texas, all right? You want to come mess with me? Come mess with me to my face. I'm not a little baby back bitch that's going to bend over and let him give it to me up the keister like you, Brian. I fight for what I love and what I believe in. This country and the Dallas Cowboys and Americana. Not like you.
And you're not doing so good on the Dallas Cowboys right now, are you, buddy?
You should be used to taking L's by now.
They lose every game for the rest of my life. God bless the Cowboys.
God did not bless the Cowboys.
I love this country like you. You ought to move to Canada or Mexico, Brian. You're pathetic.
Stein, who do you think put the pipe bombs down outside the...
Probably Use
your common sense, Lummy.
You were there.
The most likely
common
person.
sense is out the window, okay?
Man, I love it. Man, I love the full-blown Alex Stein meltdown on the lib. I love it. Woo!
Yeah, can you retweet this later, Alex? When we tweet it out, thank you.
Yes, tweet it out.
Hey, we're gonna make this a short, and will you share it for me? Will you share it?
1,000%.
Alex, I haven't said you're wrong about anything. I'm just asking for proof that you're right.
Yeah, you better not.
I'm not backing up.
This weekend, and I will take a rental car straight to Tampa and stick this size 13 boot straight up your candy ass. All right, and I'm not even cutting a promo. I'm dead serious. I'm done, Brian. I'm done. You just had Roger Stone on for an hour, and your brain is still not functioning correctly. I'm sick and tired of it. I got a pregnant cat. I just found out my cat is pregnant. I'm breeding cats in Dallas. I'm not gonna deal with you.
I'm breeding cats in Dallas. Now I gotta deal with you with my size 13 right up your candy ass, bitch.
Have you ever milked a cat?
No, I haven't, and I'm not even thinking about that right now. I think the cat takes care of the babies on its own, but she has 4 things. I've just spent about $1,100 on her stuff. Had to get my other cat neutered.
Where's Pay? Are you and pay-per-view still together?
Yeah, we're good. We're going. Tim Pool invited us on his yacht this weekend. We're going to be at the Hard Rock Casino in Fort Lauderdale, and then we have a big yacht rental.
Roger did Tim Pool's a show and didn't really put it over too much. He's like, man, I flew all the way to West Virginia. Is his studios in West Virginia?
It's in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you have to fly to DC, then you have to take an hour, about 55-minute drive to his studios. And that, like, Tim and I become friends. There's a casino out there, and then there's also MGM National Harbor. So when you're out in the middle of nowhere, Tim and he plays poker. I'd go play poker with Tim, but like you're out in the sticks. There's literally the only thing to do is there's a big casino.
So why didn't he move if he has a yacht in Fort Lauderdale? Why didn't he relocate from West Virginia to Fort Lauderdale? I think it would be far easier to get guests to travel to Fort Lauderdale. I'm thinking.
Well, yeah, that is true. He does kind of have. I mean, he gets big guests, but it's a pain in the butt for a lot of them to go, like if they're in Los Angeles, to fly all the way to DC, or if they're in Seattle, this is a lot of travel. But he has a huge compound with a bunch of, rice. Dude, he has more prep stuff. Tim Pool has more prep stuff and guns and ammunition than I've ever seen. He has a secret wall in his house. I'm not going to say where. You go into a basement, he's got munitions, those 30-day buckets of food, that last whatever 6 months.
Right.
He's got more of those than you could count. I mean, he has 1,000 of those on his wall. So I just think he feels safe and insulated, I guess, up there.
How did he get so big out of nowhere?
Well, Joe Rogan.
Oh, is he like on with Joe a lot, and Joe he kind of got the Joe rub?
Well, he got the Joe rub, but he was on his own. He was covering all of the Occupy Wall Street stuff. Like now it's kind of the beginning of the internet age.
Right.
So he was out there talking to the people, and he got a job working for Vice. Then he worked for, I forget which other media company.
Fusion TV.
Fusion TV. He worked for a few of those, like that Vice umbrella. And the reason why he went really viral is that Joe Rogan had him on because he was so knowledgeable about the censorship on Twitter. And this was years ago, back before you got kicked off. And they talked about how, and then Tim Pool came on and he confronted the woman's name is like Vivaj Shamalani, some Indian name that I can't pronounce that well. And he confronted her and he just went super viral. And, ever since then, Tim he's huge. He's absolutely huge.
How's things everything in your world?
Not good. I got this pregnant cat. I'm screwed. I got to give 3 of them away. So now I have 5 cats.
Better than having a pregnant girlfriend.
Real Americans have dogs.
He's got one of those.
I have a dog. Ginger, come here. I got a dog. I'd like to see your dog. My dog would eat your dog in 2 seconds, and you couldn't even sue me.
My dog
doesn't legally own it.
Died 2 months ago, buddy. Thanks a lot.
On the what is it? The Rainbow Bridge.
I am sorry about that. I don't like.
He did, but I'm not. I've moved past it. But yeah, he did die.
You moved past it that fast? Your dog died 2 months ago, and you're already over it.
He's already challenging you.
I think of my
You're
dog.
a sick human being. You're a sick human being. My cat Dusty died 2 years ago. I cry about that damn cat every day. You're a sick human being, Brian.
You're emotionally weak.
I am. You know what? I'll take that because I wear my heart on my sleeve.
I wear
my heart on my sleeve.
Alex is also very unstable too. He's on a lot of drugs.
He seems pretty stable.
I'm not on any drugs, Bubba. First of all, I'm not. That narrative is incorrect.
Wow.
But I am unstable and I am emotional.
Well, I mean, we're all on some kind of drugs, aren't we?
Well, no, I mean, that makes it sound like I'm actually on drugs. No, I'm not on drugs. I'm on coke.
If you were on like a blood pressure pill, that would be considered on drugs.
Well, I guess, technically I took.
Come on, there's on drugs and there's on drugs. Like taking pharmaceuticals for a medical condition, for like having a high heart rate is a lot different than like smashing 20 pills to go to sleep every night.
Okay, well, I snorted a Viagra before this interview. I always snort a Viagra.
You snorted a Viagra today?
Just to get it when I get up. It helps with the blood flow.
Yeah, not only that, but man, you'll have a boner today for pay-per-view, like, straight up.
Rock hard. So I can't believe Roger didn't put Tim over at all. I mean, that's just because, Roger's probably like, oh, it took me I'll probably see Roger. We'll probably see him in Miami.
Yeah. Man, they're really screwing with him, are they not? I mean, wow.
He's toast. He's toast. And it's just because he's really
like I said earlier, he's only guilty of being
associated with Trump,
associated and an ally of Donald Trump. And so now that the deep state, the weaponization of the FBI. I know firsthand of that of Babyface on the weaponization of the FBI and the lack of prosecution, and whether you're on the right side of one thing or the other. And if you're a victim like me, you're not going to get the same rights as you or something like that. The FBI is the worst. They're the worst.
They are. They're not a great organization. I'll tell you that.
They're terrible. They're terrible. We need to abolish
that common
them.
ground.
See, there we go. We got some common ground.
I know how. I have been, like, Bubba wasn't making that up. I have been interrogated by the FBI.
14 hours.
Good. Yeah. Good. Yeah, I know. You probably did have something on that hard drive, Brian.
No, you know what? You know what? Hold on.
Yeah.
Me being both of your friends, I'm going to give just very, very fair.
Better friends with me, closer friends with me, mentorship with me, and you're not really mentoring Brian to be what?
Well, he's a very dear friend. He's in a
gay conversion therapy. Is that what you're doing with Brian? Gay conversion therapy?
No, but I will tell you this, man. He made the FBI his bitch. They had him in a grand jury situation, and they wanted his ass, and they tried to fillet you wide open. They tried to get you. They asked you the same question 54 times just so that you would verify once.
I kept 6 people out of prison.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, God bless America. And Brian, I appreciate that. And I'm sorry that you lost your pet. And I do like you, Brian. I just get heated when I deal with smart people. When I deal with smart people that don't like to use common sense, because I'm not a smart guy. I'm
not saying anything that you're saying is wrong. I just like having proof and evidence presented along with blanket statements and accusations. And so
I do these debates.
Use your brain is not proof. Okay, you very well may be right, and you could be 80% more likely to be right, but that doesn't make it right.
But I do these debates all the time. Oh, evidence. What do you want me to go? Oh, well, this is Sergeant 769. Here's his confessional on tape. I mean, this is very hard stuff to expose.
Roger Stone. Well, here's the thing. People don't trust the government. People think the government flubs everything up, but they believe that the government can, across 8 states, steal an election from Donald Trump.
They can.
That's easy because that's easier to do because it's just little small counties.
That's
totally different.
Because when more than 2 people know something, it's not a secret anymore. Right?
Let me tell you this stat, Brian. Let me just tell you this stat.
And then we got to wrap it up.
Then we got to wrap it. I just want to tell you this. Donald Trump in in-person voting won all 50 states, even California, even New York, on in-person voting.
Right.
Joe Biden with mail-in ballots won all 50 states, including Texas, including Florida.
Because Donald Trump, hold on real quick. Do you think it may have anything to do with the fact that Donald Trump explicitly told his supporters not to vote by mail? Do you think that may have had something to do with the disparity?
Do you think that? Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think that
I voted for mail.
I know, but he explicitly told his supporters not to vote by mail.
What I'm saying is, with all the mail-in ballots, the most mail-in ballots that we've ever had in a presidential election in American history, do you think that the possibility of them scamming it increased or decreased with the increase of mail-in ballots?
There's probably an increased likelihood of the potential for fraud, but I still want to.
And in some places, but it's funny though, Brian. You don't even need fraud because in some states, ballot harvesting is totally legal. So you can go to a retirement center and you can basically fill out the ballot for every single person, and you can take it to a drop box. So in those states, people that might not have normally voted, but because you have a a cluster of people, you could all get them to vote. Basically, you would vote and put their name down.
That's why Lummy's going to be harvesting at the Groves this weekend.
That's right.
And anybody who's breaking the law, there's been a bunch of Trump supporters that voted twice that have been indicted and convicted.
And Brian, do you ever think that the 4 officers that committed suicide after January 6th might have been the inside job ones?
Yeah,
4 officers committed suicide.
It might have been the inside job either way.
Exactly, but I'm saying
either way,
we'll never
know. You know what? Let's investigate it. Let's get evidence.
Pimp on a blimp. Hey, Pimp on a blimp. Let me ask you a question. Am I ever going to go on your show?
You've been on my show, and then you did the BJ gimmick. I would love to have you back on. You want to come on next week?
I'm talking about, no, I'm not ready. But when I'm ready to promote something, then I actually go to the studios and, maybe do.
Yes, and we'll get you on Glenn. We can bring you out. No, we'll do that 100%.
Then I'll drive down to Austin and get on Joe.
We got to get on Joe, but then even though Roger did not put it over, you still should do Tim's podcast. I'll meet you out there. If you go on Tim's, I'll fly out there. I'll go on it, or I'll just hang out.
And Alex has been doing a lot of Fish Tank too. You should go on there.
I was just on a show, 24/7 live stream show. They got a vacuum hose. They used a vacuum cleaner and put it on a 500-pound man's genitals and sucked on his wee with a vacuum.
Wow, that is something that I invented. When I was in 8th grade.
Yeah, exactly. It was insane.
They owe me money.
Wow.
I've got that copyrighted.
Wow.
Yeah, but you've never done it on a live stream with 20,000 people watching live.
No, you're right.
I did it in a closet while watching my aunt take a dump.
All right, hey Alex, tell my favorite pay-per-view I said hi. All right.
I will. God bless America. We love you.
God bless you, Alex. Good luck to your cat. I hope she has
the land
a
of milk
litter.
and honey. I'm really stressed about it.
Good luck to your cat.
I'm going to keep one, but I got 3 kittens. If anybody wants one or needs one, please reach out to me.
Why don't you just get on your show?
You should auction them off,
Well,
man.
yeah, you should.
I can.
Yeah, you should. You should.
Howard does that. His wife does that. All she does is rescue cats.
Just call it the Alex Stein, Animal Shelter Willie. And each if you want one of my pristine litters, it's $200 a cat. I got 3 cats. That's $600.
Have fun on a yacht this weekend. Pimp on a yacht.
Yeah, pimp on a yacht. Have fun.
Pimp on a yacht.
It's much better than staying in my stupid ass apartment, right?
No, yours is the best. Yours is the best.
House and home.
You can't get Uber Eats in the ocean, but you will have a private chef. So,
all right, my friend. Talk to you soon.
Right.
Bye now. See you later.
Why bother with broadcasting excellence when you can have broadcasting decadence instead? The Bubba the Love Sponge Show.